The air in the imperial throne room does not stir. It waits. Before the blades are drawn, before the blood of House Atreides or House Harkonnen stains the Arrakeen floor, Shaddam IV speaks. He calls Duke Leto a weak man. On the surface, it is a cheap feint, a desperate emperor trying to rattle a boy before a lethal duel. But look closer, through the heavy, pensive stillness of that moment, and it reveals itself as something far more terrifying. It is Shaddam's final, desperate attempt at reasoning. The Emperor is offering a thesis on power. Shaddam rules through a cold geometry of fear, terror, and absolute leverage. Leto ruled through the fragile architecture of devotion, loyalty, and compassion. To the old empire, Leto's love was his flaw, the structural weakness that allowed the trap to spring. Shaddam is not just mocking a dead duke, he is warning the rising Messiah. The tragedy of DUNE is that Paul listens. When Paul steps into the terrifying expanse of the Kwisatz Haderach, becoming the Lisan al-Gaib, the Muad'Dib, the Supreme Emperor, he does not honor his father's ghost. He adopts Shaddam's calculus. He unleashes a jihad that burns across the stars, a holy war fueled not by Atreides' mercy, but by absolute, unyielding terror. He realizes, with a heavy and nascent dread, that compassion cannot bend the universe. Only horror can. This inheritance of fear does not stop with Paul. It cascades. He passes this brutal philosophy to his son, Leto II, who takes the Emperor's thesis to its monstrous, ultimate conclusion, becoming a literal tyrant beast, ruling with such suffocating, millennia-long oppression that humanity's bones are permanently broken of their willingness to ever follow a master again. All of this weight, this impending doom masquerading as rebirth, boils down to the curse of prescience. Paul does not simply see the future like a static film. As the Kwisatz Haderach, he is flooded by the genetic memories of countless ancestors. He possesses a computational infinity. By looking backward into everything that ever was, he calculates with absolute certitude what must inevitably be. He is not predicting, he is remembering the future. But this gift demands a terrible price, the death of the self. Paul transitions into a true post-human entity. His goals become entirely incomprehensible to the very people who worship him. He is slowly swallowed by the golden path, the lonely, agonizing trajectory required to keep humanity from total extinction. As the jihad succeeds, Paul drifts further away from the shores of human experience. When the desert finally claims his physical eyes, he wanders deep into the desert sands to become the preacher. It is a violent, desperate act of spiritual vandalism, an attempt to annihilate his own ego so thoroughly that he becomes a ghost long before he actually dies. DUNE is awash with this post-human fracturing. In the Mentats, who replace computers with raw logic, the Golas, who conquer death but lose their original souls, the Spacing Guild navigators, mutated by spice into floating anomalies, and the Bene Gesserit witches, who treat emotion as a chemical valve to be turned off. We see the human form stretched until it snaps. It forces a profound, pensive question upon us. What actually makes us human? Frank Herbert's universe reminds us that humanity is not a matter of biology or intellect. It is found in our limitations, in our comprehensibility, our empathy, our flawed habits, and our simple wants. When a being transcends those boundaries, when their mind encompasses millennia, and their heart is hardened to endure the death of billions, the essence is lost. When a man becomes a god, he ceases to be a man. And when the human element no longer applies, the soul that remains is nothing more than a ghost, ruling over the ashes. The transformation of Leto II is not a descent into mere malice. It is a cold, agonizing crucifixion of both flesh and the spirit. To save the species, he chooses to become the ultimate apex predator, abandoning the shores of human experience entirely, to mutate into something monstrous. He looks upon the terrifying calculus of his father, Paul, and realizes that Muad'Dib's failure was out of nerve, a refusal to completely drown the self in the ink of the golden path. Where the father shrunk from before the final boundary, terrified of losing his reflection in the mirror, the son steps fully into the abyss. He expands the Atreides monopoly on terror into a 3,000-year tyranny, so suffocating, so absolute, that its true purpose feels like a cosmic paradox. Leto II builds a prison of unparalleled stagnation, specifically to engineer the ultimate, irreversible jailbreak. By holding humanity in a death grip for millennia, he is actively breeding a frantic, instinctual claustrophobia into the very genetic fabric of the species. It is a slow, generational trauma, a deep-seated, systemic allergy to authority, designed to ensure that mankind will never again tolerate a single master, nor ever again quietly gather into one corner of the universe to be slaughtered. This is the agonizing, desperate prologue to Kralazek, the Typhoon struggle at the end of time, the ultimate war that his prescience warns will determine whether humanity survives or vanishes into a silent, permanent night. To prepare the species for this storm, Leto performs a brutal, esoteric surgery upon the collective human soul, a bloody operation carried out across centuries of forced peace. He systematically strips away the crutches of the old empire, isolating humanity from its own dangerous idiosyncrasies. He outlaws the computational absolute of the mentats, leaving minds to rely on intuition rather than predictable calculation. He starves and oppresses the mutated Spacing Guild navigators, breaking their monopoly on the stars and shattering the ease of interstellar travel. He gathers all post-human status, all transcendent authority, and locks it entirely within his own grotesque, worm-fused form. He hoards the godhead so no one else can claim it, making himself the sole lightning rod for human hatred. It is a desperate bid to heal humanity from its ancient, pathetic urge to worship warlords and emperors, forcing them to learn how to survive without a savior. Yet, the loneliness of this path breeds a terrifying alienation, a distance so vast that it threatens to swallow his remaining sanity. Those who dare to rebel against his forced peace are brought before his presence, expecting a tyrant's execution. Instead, they face something far more devastating: his mind. Leto does not just defeat his enemies, he infects them. When he speaks, the staggering depth of his prescient awareness acts like an intellectual logic virus. He reveals the terrible necessity of the golden path with such undeniable, crushing certitude that the rebels' worldview completely shatters. They enter his chambers as freedom fighters. They leave as apostles of the monster. This conversion renders them instantly alien to the very compatriots they fought alongside just hours before. They return to their cells or their homes, speaking a language of necessity that no ordinary human can comprehend, cursed to understand that the tyrant's cruelty is the only true mercy left in the cosmos. They become ghosts within their own revolutions, severed from their peers by the weight of a horrific understanding. Once again, the desperate bid to evade extinction demands an irreversible, post-human sacrifice. But this time, the scale of the tragedy is concentrated into a single, immortal point. Leto II takes the singularity upon himself alone. He becomes the solitary monster, the isolated god, condensing all the terrifying, predatory potential of post-human evolution into one agonizing, blocky existence. He shields the universe from the horror of what humanity could become by becoming that horror first, by mutating his own body and soul into a living monument of dread. He creates a buffer. He suffers the ultimate, lonely transformation, drifting further into an incomprehensible solitude, so that the rest of mankind can remain beautifully, chaotically, and limitlessly human, free to hate him, free to forget him, and finally, free to scatter beyond his sight.